Australia are on a roll. Cummins becomes the first.
Hi everyone. It looks like Australia is on some form of a roll, as was commentated just then on television. We had, in fact, a wicket. Cummins has now got a fiver. He's got 5 for 56. It's a beautiful ball. He's poked the bat out there and it's just reached the seats with a more regulation position at first slip. And Cummins has led the charge with 5 for 56. Hassan Ali out for a duck after 4 deliveries. Pakistan at 8 for 2, 6, 8. With Babar Azam 67 knocking out, with Shaheen coming in now, and only Nazim, I think, then to follow. So that's not a great situation here for Pakistan. It's not the end of the world though. They're 123 behind, but that could prove telling. This is some Sharath Jay is actually. This is some bowling from Cummins in a pitch that doesn't seem to. They've done pretty well. Let's have a look here. Well, one positive thing for me is that Jason Sangha got a century, being the young 22-year-old. I think he is. He got a century. He got a big century for his team, New South Wales, that is, and it's pretty impressive. Let's see how we're going with no one on our live yet. Let's see what's going on. So let's see what's going on with the live. Is the live run?
23.5 overs he's bowled, 5 for 56. These are the days when you find out about people. These are the pictures when you find out about the heart of a bowler. This man has it in abundance.
We've got someone who's watching. I think it's me that's watching.
Monumental effort that is from the Australian captain. 268 for him.
Somebody who's watching. I think it's me that's watching. Yes, the post day 3 hasn't quite occurred. Pakistan have got a little bit of a way to go. They might be playing for the half an hour or so. But it's one of those. Hassan was playing well away from his body. Pat Cummins was extremely happy after getting 5 in this match. So it has been both the likes of Cummins, certainly. The last forward, Alam, who looks all at sea, was bowled by Stark Rizwan, bowled by Stark for 1. Then Cummins has taken Sergeant Kadnoma and Hassan Ali, all for single-digit scores, all ducks. Not very impressive at all, actually. But Babar Azam is still there on 67. He needs to manufacture the strike now. He needs to keep Shaheen alive off strike and try and get as many. The wicket certainly is playing up there. That's certainly gripped of what looked like a rough patch there and led to a wicket for him. So, yes, Pat Cummins gets 5 wickets. Mitchell Stark's just taken another. They're falling like flies now, Pakistan. And that was, in fact, Babar Azam, who's just gone. He's going to go upstairs. He has to go upstairs because there's nothing to lose. Is he going upstairs? Let's see. He is. If he's out, we're in some trouble here, Pakistan. You would argue they were 2 for 212, 14 or something. They've lost 8 wickets for very few. Oh, there's a chance that may be leg side. There is a chance. And they bat on the edge of the ball. Now it's gone straight to pad. See the umpires Asif Yaqub. Stark is bowling virtually around the wicket and on the angle. There is a chance that it might miss here. We'll just wait. He has been given out. Umpire's call, which means he's out. Oh, and it was just the edge of the ball. Oh, it could easily have been given not out.
Stark has now got 3 for 33. He is joining the party as well as the
Stark 3 for 33. Cummins 5 for 50 odd. They're taking 8 weeks between them. They've done a Trojan job. A drastic collapse from Pakistan. Yes, it is true. It's very much the case. Not happy, Jan. Not happy, Jan. Pakistan now 9 for 268 after 116.1 deliveries. Nassim's coming with Shaheen. 2 of the tail enders, in the true sense of the word, are now in. And we have Pakistan reeling at 9 for 268. A bit of a disaster occurring here, Moses, in front of our eyes.
It is.
On what is effectively Happy Pakistan Day.
I know, and effectively, Cummins and Stark have got. I think they've got that series-winning spell that they bowled. I suppose last 4 wickets falling for 4 runs. They were fantastically cruising 2 for 212, and now they are 9 for 268. So what's that? 50 odd runs and lost 7 wickets. So
it's quite a concern. But then at the same hand, I mean, Australia might fall easily too if they go in the back. We just don't know. They could have a torrid time too. But at the moment, they're 100 odd runs in front. So that's the big difference.
120 odd runs lead with 2 days to play. And as I said yesterday in the comments, that day 3, and now we see late day 3, day 4 and day 5 is going to be really hard to bat. So fast bowlers with reverse swing, it's really going to be challenging. If Australia gets 300-run lead for Pakistan to survive on day 5, it's going to be hard. So they're all out with 58. So Pakistan have to come out and bowl for a few overs now. 123-run lead has been surrendered. So Stark end up with 4 for, Cummins with 5 for. Great fast bowling display, great reverse bowling display. I think that's a series decider, just that spell that these two have bowled just recently. So disappointing. Game was not moving anywhere post-lunch when Azhar and Shafiq were batting. They were batting really well. They were just dominating, and then started reversing. When that started to happen, Shafiq gone to a faint edge to line, and then after that, fantastic catch by Cummins to get the dominating batting of Azhar Ali back in the hutch, and then after that, it just looked like a disaster. And I still stand by my comments. We've been talking about that middle order spot for Pakistan, where number 5 spot with Fawad Alam has not contributed at all to the 5 innings that he's batted. He looked like getting out any minute, and as soon as he got out, the pressure.
Well, they're all out, aren't they?
They're all out, yeah. They're all out with 123 run behind. 4 to Stark and 5 to Cummins. So yeah, it's a challenge now. Pakistan will have to bowl a few overs before the end of the play. If they can pick up a wicket here, that would be good. But it's a healthy lead that they have surrendered. 123 on this pitch is a massive lead. So I think they'll have to get Australia out cheaply. Probably, a lead of 250 is still quite big, I think.
Oh, I'm watching now. Cummins coming off the field, and he looks Stark, you beauty. Stark, you beauty. Cummins versus Cutie. There's a sign there.
Yep.
I'm a bit lost for words. I'm very disappointed. Sean Tates is on the field. He's under the chat to Travis Head. They probably know each other, both being South Australians. Pat Cummins has led the charge as captain here for sure, and ably supported by Stark. They've taken 9 wickets between them, actually. Lions just had the 1 wicket, and the Australian team are cock a hoop. They're all a rare sight. You see the whole Australian bench standing up and applauding the team. It probably deserves a good clap because really this has been some recovery. They've, as you said, they were 2 for 212 or thereabouts, and then I don't know what happened because Asar Ali and Shafiq looked good, Baba Azam looked good. And then Fawad Alam, I'm sorry, I've lost the plot with him. Something's really, really not right there. I don't care what he's capable of doing. That stance, I can't accept him playing Test cricket. There's something dramatically wrong going on there. It's just awful to watch. It's
not
a
against
struggle.
Quality of Australian pace attack, and even at any quality pace attack, he's struggling. He's not up to the mark for that kind of quality pace attack. I know he's got 500. His conversion is quite good, but sorry, him and Heads both have to go.
Yeah, it's they had Shafiq and Asar had a 150 run partnership. They were looking $1 million, and then everything's fallen away from there on. And Pakistan did rely on those batters, the upper order batsmen, a hell of a lot. They did have an extra bowler included to try and negate the conditions, which I thought was a good move. We both thought was a good move, but it's actually, you would argue, backfired. They had a very long tail, and they've proven their tails just
Plus number five not contributing at all. That makes 6 batters who can't bat. So it's top. It's only the 5 guys they've been relying upon very heavily who've been scoring runs.
Okay.
But it's just.
So we've got to be realistic here. The test is far from over. In terms, it's not a fait accompli. Australia's won this. Why? Because we know Pakistan can score 440 in their second innings after getting 148 in the first. Right?
Yes,
we've seen them do it. So this time they got 260, whatever it is, and they're at 68, and they're looking a bit dire, being 123 behind. But in fact, we know that it's going to be more twists and turns that meet the eye. At this stage, as we said in the second test, we were saying Australia were going to win that at one stage. Comprehensively, Pakistan showed this time Australia can't send them back in.
No.
They've got to bat, so that's not a decision they've got to make. It's just looking a little bit like, 120 in front. If they get 200 tomorrow and a bit today, they'll be 300-400 in front again.
Exactly. I think Australia would like to bat Pakistan out of the game. They would want to get 350 lead. They want to score 300 with the bat, so that gives them 400-run lead. So they want to bat Pakistan out of the game. But is one day going to be enough for them to get the wickets? I think on day 5, the pitch is going to play a lot of tricks.
Vasant Narayan saying it's a draw or Australia win. Norman, please answer. Look, I can't say that because we've already seen what happened last test. A very similar situation, if not more emphatic, to Australia, and they didn't win it.
No.
It's going to be, once again, how Australia bat in the second innings and how long. If the wicket falls apart the way it seems to be falling apart, Australia may have no choice but to go in the bat and be all out naturally. But yeah, with 120 up in front, Australia are in the ascendancy. We're going to get a result. My impression is we're going to get a result.
There's a result. And last 4 wickets gone down without a run being added. I think Australia well and truly in front. But the crucial thing would be how the second innings. I think Warner's got to go hard. I don't know if Smith and Marnus will continue to play some shots as well. Uzi will be the backbone for this innings as well, as he's done all throughout the series. So it's an interesting stage how Australia approach that second innings, whether they decide to go hard and try and get runs and give themselves 3 and a bit sessions to get Pakistan out, because I think 1 day, 3 sessions might not be enough. They'll need more than a day to get 10 wickets. But having said that, if they bat 2.5 sessions, they score 250. They're 120 already in front. So that's like 375, which is a very good score, which Pakistan will probably go in a frame of mind to defend, and that's where they can lose wickets. And as you can see, as soon as the ball's got older, staying low, reversing massively, it's a big challenge. I think Australia definitely in front. Day is Australia's day. No question asked. Pakistan have to come out and start getting wickets really quickly. I don't know if they have called stumps yet, but yeah, there's there's an opportunity for Pakistan if the bowl today get a wicket or two, and start getting in front, because the key partnership for Australian batting, if you see they were 5 for 205, the Kerry and Green partnership got them really on track towards that 390 target, or 390 they set to Pakistan, and that's what it was. For Pakistan batting, apart from the 5 that have scored runs, no one else. It's the 6. I'll call it 6 tailenders rather than 5 tailenders, because what's his name hasn't contributed at all. Fawad Alam. So it's a shame that they stuck with him for 3 Test matches, and he has not done significant contribution in any of the innings that he's played. He's similar to Travis Head, I suppose. He's got a backing of selectors, but he hasn't repaid that confidence that selectors have shown in him. They've got to go past this series. They've got to go look for another middle-order batter to go with it, and they've got to get the all-rounder right. They've got to instead of Hassan Ali, they could have played another pacer with with Haris Rauf with 145 plus. You have 3 good really pace bowlers and 3 pace bowlers and 2 spinners. That would have given you a good bowling attack. But I think Hassan Ali was off again this Test match. Didn't contribute at all with the ball, and with the bat he was just sitting duck. So disappointing as you are, Norman. I am disappointed as well. The game was actually poised by lunchtime. It was looking really good that Pakistan could score 400 and it'd be a toe-to-toe. But I think Australia really come back well with the reversing ball and taking the game away from Pakistan.
Yeah, look, this turnaround seems to be lightning quick here. Warner and Khawaja are out there almost. Are they keen to get out there? They almost appear keen to get out there. It's a mental game now. It's really a mental game. Pakistan could do it in the second Test. Let's remember that they did it in the second Test. It's going to come down to how long Australia bat for, and in the second Test, they were in front by a substantial amount, weren't they?
That's true. That's very true.
They scored 500, didn't they, Australia? And Pakistan were out for 184, 148. It was awful. They were well behind.
But the pitch is quite different.
It's going to be how long Australia bat for, and how long they can seriously think they need to get Pakistan all out. They're going to still need more than the day's play, I would argue.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I don't think it's Pakistan are that bad. They're going to just keel over. But it's starting to take the equation out of Australia losing is the point here.
And the key factor in this pitch difference to Karachi is this is not a new ball pitch. Karachi was a new ball pitch. If you got wickets with the new ball, you're good. The older ball didn't do much. This one is quite opposite. It's not a new ball pitch. It's more so an older ball pitch. You saw a lot of deliveries that have gone with the older ball, reversing, staying low, and the attacking the stumps. So this pitch is more an older ball pitch. So you want to get this ball older as quickly as possibly you can, and start to reverse it. Cummins become the first quick out of the tour to get 5 for. The other guys have got 4 4 each from Pakistan side, with Shaheen getting 4 and Naseem getting 4 as well. So it's a really big achievement in terms of how Australia have bowled. And again, thing is, the Pakistan bowling attack, they've got to get this new ball older as quickly as possible. You'll see a lot of throws on the square as well, and you'll see a lot of cross seam deliveries. And there's a nick, and that just falls short. And you can see straight away they're looking to attack stumps. And this one was just again shaping in, and Uzi just nicked to slip cordon, but the ball's not carrying. So it's really how much you attack the stumps and try and hit the wicket or get the pad in a way, and that's how Cummins and Stark attacked with that older ball to get those last 8 wickets for 50 odd runs.
You would have to think that it's the mental side of the game is significant now. This is the third test. What Pakistan did last test, I guess they had a bit more freedom in the last test to win, or at least to bat the way they did. They've got less freedom now. There's more of a critical nature of this match. I think the psychological wearing down of what Cummins and Stark has just done is going to have an effect. There's only about it mustn't be very long. There's probably no more than about 10 minutes left in the day's play.
A couple of overs, yeah.
I can't see them going longer than that.
No. And
you would think that Pakistan need to get a couple of wickets pretty damn quickly. This is their opportunity. Oh, Jesus. Khawaja's head tip has gone around. It was intriguing how Steve Smith was a lot deeper at first slip.
This time around. Catch. Well, he's dropped 6 catches, and he's all of a sudden realised that where he was standing, it's not working, and it's never going to work because you've got to still stand at conventional, let the ball come. It's dictated by the keeper where he stands, and then you adjust yourself. So he went back this innings. He went back to normal. He still dropped 2 catches on spin bowling, but he was in better position compared to all the other innings that he's been standing. So, he's caught one, but I still am disappointed on his catching ability. He's a really good slipsman, but his whether he's spotting the ball all right or he's positioning at the slip, he's trying to invent something which he didn't need to, and that's why he's dropped 6 catches, and 3 of them off spin bowling, 2 of them off Shreps and 1 off line, and the other 3 against the quick. So a little bit disappointed in that. I'm sure he will be disappointed in his fielding performance as well. It's very unlike Australian slip fielder. We've had a fantastic slip fielder in Mark Ward, Taylor, and Matty Hayden. All of these guys have, Shane Warne even. They had fantastic hands, and Smudge being really letting down with 6 drop catches, and they've been showing throughout the day. They're pretty straightforward catches. 9 out of 10 times he would take it.
The World Test Championship is kind of on the line a little bit for Pakistan. And I think the pressure's starting to show. We'll see how they go the next few days, but they're going to need to regroup overnight, which they're capable of doing. And we know that. I'm not lost hope on them at least surviving through this. We know they can do it. They've done it before. In a way, they were the previous test. They were all out way before the end of the day 3, weren't they?
That's right.
They realistically, you would think that Australia, will learn from their previous test match on how to play. They're going to rely more on the fast bowling to take the wickets than the spinners, obviously, in the second innings as well. Swapson's going to play a less of a role, you would think. Lyon did take the first wicket of the innings, though. But, right. He's not been penetrative either. But, look, you've got to take your head off to Stark and Cummins. They've done just a marvellous job. And Cummins is leading by example, and that's the key to his captaincy. It's not about him stirring up these other players. It seems to be, I'm going to take this game by the scruff of the neck and win it for my team, which is commendable. But he can't always do that, but he seems to be doing that more often than not of late. So I was earlier on, I was at a function in Sydney, which I think I tagged you on a few pictures. I was at the New South Wales State Parliament. Maz Sheikh, who you know, and Zahid, a few people invited me to go, and there was a cavalcade of politicians there, along with the Consul General to Pakistan. It was the first time that we've had that event. It was quite a beautiful event, but it's not really a happy day for Pakistan at the moment. They were talking cricket up, of course, and even talking about Usman Khawaja, and it was all very positive. And but it seems like maybe we shouldn't have. Maybe Pakistan have celebrated a bit too hard today, but they're happy Pakistan because they're not. It's not a happy day for them at the moment.
Pakistan Day. It's like a Republican Day for Australia. It's like a Pakistan. It's Pakistan Day in the country. You saw a lot of crowd members with flags and wearing green color, which is the country's flag color. Even the commentators have got the green vests on, so it's really celebrated well in Pakistan, and crowd. And it's a public holiday today as well, and hence the crowd is in numbers today as well. And they were chanting even the Aussie's name when Marnus did a couple of good fieldings, and they were chanting his name off, and they were chanting Cummins off as well. So it was a good atmosphere in the ground, and I think that's a good to see. From first 2 days where the crowd was disappointed, and today crowd is turned up in numbers. I hope they turn up tomorrow and Friday, because it's going to be fantastic 2 days of cricket that's left. I think there's probably one more over to go today, but even if you've turned up today for the game and you love cricket, you would have enjoyed quality fast bowling in Pakistan's dead pitches. People talk about spinners taking wickets in Pakistan so many times, and I'd just say, if you look at the stats, there's more percentage of quicks have taken wickets in Pakistan than spinners. It's not typical subcontinent pitch like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, or India, where spinners just, the quicks just come in to bowl a couple of overs, and then spinners are in operation. Here, you get the spinners on just to get the ball old enough, and then you get quicks to get reversing. And this Test match, 8 wickets for Pakistan gone to quicks, and 9 wickets. Australian quicks have taken 9. So it's just reflection of only 3 wickets have gone to spin. But then again, second innings.
Dave, let me just interrupt here. Dave Warner hasn't faced a ball here. He's laughing. He's at the red ball. It looks like all the difficulty is faced by Khawaja. And Khawaja is surviving some pretty decent deliveries here. Exactly. Not much bounce. The ball skidding through. It's almost hitting the stumps, and he's missing the bat. He's having a torrid time out there. And if this wicket's keeping up the way that it is now, we're going to be in for a day wrapped up tomorrow. Absolutely. Because it seems to be just failing.
It could be lunchtime, day 5. Yeah.
But Usman Khawaja is the key. Pakistan need to get him out, and quickly. I think Australia would be quite disturbed if they lost Khawaja early, because we know that Warner and Labuschagne aren't to be relied upon at the moment. Head's not in great form. There's only really Smith, who's in average form, pretty good form. They're top order could fall over very quickly if someone like Khawaja falls, because they relied on him heavily throughout the whole series. I think he's still the leading run scorer in the tournament. So, But I'm looking at Pakistan now. This is the second time they've kind of failed. No, we would argue somewhat failed in their first innings of a Test match. Yet they've come out with 2 draws, and we can't discount that. We can't say that Australia's going to win this at all. It's. I think we're going to see a few different twists and turns going on here.
Yeah, I would say I think this Test match is for Australia to lose. For more than Pakistan to win or draw, this is Australia's test to lose. I think if Australia can get 200, 250 batting this innings by tea tomorrow, they have 123 to add on. That's a very healthy lead, and then you'll be batting with a negative mindset to 370 odd to survive, to chase in 4 sessions. It's a tough ask.
I tell you what, Dave Warner looks completely out of sorts. He's just tried to pull a ball, which was not that he pulled it. He looks he doesn't look settled at all, and I don't think he'd be very keen to face the next few balls.
No, of course. Yeah.
They've got to get a wicket, Pakistan. They've got to get a wicket.
Yeah, that's the thing with the new ball. It just comes off, and Warner's just clip one to the boundaries. The thing is, um, in all assessments, the new ball is not going to get you wicket. It's just the older ball that's going to get you wicket. So you try and get the ball older enough to be able to reverse. Australia got it going in 17th, 18th over. So Pakistan will have to get it going in earlier, because by the time 17th, 18th, or even 20th over is arrived, Australia will be like close to 80, 90 runs, and that's like 200 run lead already. So if they're 80 or loss of 1 or 2 wickets, that's 200 already surrendered. So they got to do something. They got to do something quick, but they don't have to panic. That's the thing. They can just dry them up and not try too hard, which they are at the moment. If you look at the bowling in the last 3 overs, what they have bowled, they tried too hard to get a wicket. They just got to stay in that channel. They got to bowl discipline, and that's when they're going to get the wicket. So I think it's a day is called off. We've lost 5 overs for today. Don't know if they make up tomorrow. So Aussie are 134 in front, and tomorrow first session. Oh my God, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's I don't know what's going on. I'm not. Aparna was with me tonight as well. She kind of suffered through a Pakistan, ceremony and a Pakistan national anthem being Indian. It wasn't exactly. She was squirming there. It was funny. She did all the right things. She stood up and everything. The only thing she was wearing was more of a traditional Western clothing, like showing her shoulders, when most of the women were scarfed or robed, and she's a little bit, you would argue, a little bit out of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
What's with Steve Smith dropping catches? He hasn't dropped a catch in this match. Well, this innings anyway, has he?
Yeah, he has. He's dropped two against the spinners. One, Azhar Ali got dropped, and Shafiq got dropped as well. So both.
But then he ended up catching as well.
Yeah, he did end up catching them, but yeah, he's dropped 6 catches all up. So he's been.
I think he was badly positioned in the slips. That's all. Anyway, they've ended the day's play, none for 11. Warner looks in all sorts of trouble, but he survived.
Yep.
He's like Dave looked like a cat on a hot tin roof, though. He was bouncing around like a madman. And Shane had a bit of a Shane's gone right up to him. Oh, this is, I love it. Look, are they mucking around? And they had a bit of fun. Did you see that? They just go up and kiss each other. That was fun. They had a bit of a giggle.
That's good. It's quality. Yeah.
Although Shaheen kind of had the last laugh because Warner has not played well for quite some time now.
The other thing that I want to say is when wickets were falling from the other end, Barber didn't look like he wanted to get this, or didn't get the opportunity to get on strike. And I thought once he get on strike, he would try and throw his bat around and get quick 50 or 60 runs with the tail, and try and reduce as much as possible the lead they're going to surrender. But he didn't get too much strike, as you can see. Cummins got through, Hassan Ali quickly, and then he got Noman out as well, and all of a sudden Shaheen and Baba got out as well. So he just didn't get enough strike towards the end. As soon as Rizwan got out, I thought Baba will take strike in his hands and try and play some shots to get some quick fire runs, probably 40 or 50 runs extra to reduce the lead. But he just
did you see Fawad Alam's dismissal?
Yeah,
it was the most horrible technique. His bat was all over the place.
It's just he's getting beaten inside the. He's playing away from his body. His bat is hanging out there, and he's getting beaten inside. He's got LBW twice and bowled once. So it's not going to work against the pace attack of Australia or England or New Zealand. He's just they're quick bowlers. They attack stumps, and by the time he gets side on, it's too late for him, and that's where he's just losing that any momentum that he can take into the stroke. He's moving too much. Other batters, if you look at, they're nice and still at the point of release. He's still moving, and that's where he's I don't think he's going to be successful And it's disappointing that he's used up all 5 innings and he hasn't come up with any conversion to his starts. He's got low scores in all 5 innings, which is disappointing.
I look at the conditions look beautiful. I mean, the sun's going down. There's the lovely blue with a bit of cloud. The conditions look great. We've got Zani Abbas, the commentator there, now interviewing Pat Cummins, who would have to be very, very happy with his own performance in particular. He's now got 194 wickets or 195. He's fast approaching the magical 200 in such a relatively early stage of his bowling career. 556. He's bowled fantastically. He really has. But they seem to attack the stumps a lot more, didn't they?
That's true. Especially after first session. The first session you saw their line of attack was more outside off stump, and spinners operated quite a lot in that session. But then as soon as the post-lunch session, they attacked stumps about 90% of the time. And that's where the ball was reversing. It was really hard to play and to score runs as well. And the commentators were talking about that as well. If you had a chance to listen, they were saying any new batter coming in, to get him a start, it was really hard. If you're set, you were fine, as Shafiq and Azhar were doing it easy. They would not look like trouble at all. But soon as Shafiq got out, Babar got a bit of partnership going. But then post Azhar, it was really hard for anyone to come in and get a start. Even Rizwan scoring 100 last game, he was finding it really hard to get going. And then you saw last 8 wickets fallen for absolutely no runs. It is. Look, how much I look back and keep reflecting of how Pakistan have gone, man. You've got to give credit to Aussie bowlers. The way they've bowled, the way they've come up with the plan to attack the stumps, attack the batters with quick deliveries, reversing. It was really hard to bat on. We all have forgotten that Azhar Ali is past to 7,000 test runs as well, just because all of a sudden the drama has happened. The game wasn't moving at all, but 1 wicket and all of a sudden the game has moved so far ahead that we're seeing a result definitely in this game. And if Australia's winning, they're definitely on a way to World Test Championship, because that winning Australia is actually good for India, because India is going to face Australia, and India know that they're going to beat Australia comfortably at home. So I think this win to Australia here is actually beneficial for India, because if Pakistan would have won, if Pakistan go on and win the Test match, let alone draw, that means that India is still a bit behind on the World Test Championship, and they would have had to push harder to win to qualify for the final. But I think it's Australia is actually doing them a favour.
Baram Marani saying happy Pakistan Day, everyone. Thanks. It's very nice of you to say that, Baram, but I think there's a bit of sarcasm there coming from Indian noms to this day. I'm not sure that's so authentic. But I'm disappointed with Parna. Parna promised me she would come tonight. She was with me today, and she's doing a collaboration with this with dueling today. Anyway, so I'm posting now a summary of the day's play, and I'm saying what happened, because it doesn't seem like the way the day was going. Certainly, they were batting fantastically, Pakistan, yet again, and their tail was probably a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Which really shouldn't have bothered them, because they've been batting so well upper order. Interestingly enough, no one scored a century in this match, both sides. I was certain that Azhar Ali and Shafiq were heading for centuries, but I was doing a bit of a caddies, wasn't I? But at least one positive, Azhar Ali has reached 7,000 test runs on his home pitch. But he's reached 7,000 test runs, which is a pretty massive achievement in itself. I'm already getting vision of Bangladesh versus South Africa. I'm sorry, I'm going to be rude here. I find that I've got no interest in watching that match at all. Something that's just not exciting about watching South Africa play Bangladesh. And I'm more saying about Bangladesh. I like Bangladesh. I like them to win, if I'm going to say anything. But I'm just so anti-South Africa. I don't know what I'm really anti-South Africa, especially the women's cricket.
But the thing is, South African majority of their players have gone and joined IPL teams, so they're weakened team, and Bangladesh have got opportunity to clean out the series because obviously they are almost full strength, and they're not lacking any of the players, whereas South Africa have got like a second string team. Majority of the boys have gone on and joined their IPL teams, and because that's how it has turned out to be. So unfortunately, that series has lot of interest amongst the viewers, just purely because of the balance of the sides. Um, it will give a lot of points to Bangladesh. They will qualify easily now for the cup. I think the team that is getting worried now to qualify for the cup would be West Indies and Pakistan, because they sit right at the bottom of the one-day table. So they really have to win some one-day games to qualify for the World Cup. Otherwise, they will have to play the qualifier, which would be shame if Pakistan have to play a qualifier to go back and play in the cup. So it's interesting. For me, someone's asked a question: who's replacement for Hassan Ali for red ball? Definitely for red ball, I would have gone with Haris Rauf with extra pace, and have we all seen extra pace from Stark, Cummins, and Naseem and Shaheen has worked on these kind of pitches in Pakistan, where reverse is a massive thing. They're not really spin dragging wickets like India or Sri Lanka. They're more, you get the spinners on to get the ball all, and then your pacemen with the pace have got the ball reversing. And Waqar was talking about it. Your reverse is not effective if it is 130s, because you can then adjust yourself to the ball coming against the conventional swing. Your reverse is really effective if you're hitting 140 plus, and that's what Stark and Cummins did. That's what Shaheen Afridi and Naseem Shah did in first innings as well. So for me, it's no brainer that for Hassan Ali, I would have definitely gone with the Haris Rauf 145 plus. So I think they've got to do some adjustments going forward with the two series coming up, England and New Zealand. For me, Fawad has to be shaking hand and said thank you very much for coming. Try a youngster, even give him a longer run and let him have an extended run. And you would have seen our mate Sanger scored 100 today in Shield game as well. So I would actually draft him as soon as the tour is announced for Sri Lanka. I would draft him into the reserve bench, get him in, get him experience, and I would be actually going to the extent of getting him a run instead of Head, because I think this season Sanger's come far ahead for where he was 2 years ago. Now I think he's ready to go red ball, take the number 6 spot, number 5 spot. Give him an extended run in Test cricket. I think he'll come good.
Yeah, look, I'm just trying to dissect how well Pakistan have played this series. Everybody says they're at home. They should be winning this series 2-0 or even 3-0 because they're at home. And I grant that you would expect that. And if anything less happens, they've not played well. But you can't say that. The first test, they were all over Australia, but it was a draw. They played well, Pakistan. Second test, they didn't play well in the first innings, but they had admirably came back at the second and came within 60 runs of winning that match, despite the fact that it ended up being a draw. Can you say that Pakistan played badly? No, you can't. Australia's played pretty well, but Pakistan haven't played badly. This match, at this stage, you'd have to argue that Australia's been in the lead position throughout the whole match. I thought 391 was not enough, but it's now turned out to be more than enough. But as we know, if Pakistan come back in their last innings and survive and draw the match, have Pakistan won the series in terms of the way that it was played? I mean, it's going to make them survive World Test Championship-wise, but they lose this Test match. It's quite a dismal failure in a way, even though they've been really in charge. If you look at breaking down session by session, you would argue Pakistan's been in front for the majority of the tests, both tests, into the third even. Probably Australia's catching up a little, but Pakistan would still be maybe 5-8, 6-8 in front. So I might try and do that. Try and break down session by session through the first test. First test, it's like 8 or 9 out of 10, really. Australia weren't in the hunt anywhere along the line, were they? Really? They did play that quads about well. The second test, it was probably more Australia's way. Pakistan caught up. So let's say 8-2 the first test, 6-5 Sri Lanka. Australia's way the second. And the third is probably more like about 5-2 at the moment.
Absolutely.
Which puts it about even. If anything, Pakistan's slightly in front overall.
Overall, yeah.
Session by session breakdowns I'm talking about. Overall. It's probably a better number than that. I'm sure if you and I just dissected every session of the first 2 tests and into the third, although Australia's caught up quite a bit, Pakistan would still have a slight session edge. And that's the only way I can break it down for any value here, because
the other thing that I want to make a comment about that Pakistan have played 8 years of their test.
Moses, can you speak a bit loud for my sake? I'm sure the audience can hear it.
Yeah, no problem. The point that I was trying to make was Pakistan have played last 8 years of their test cricket in UAE. They have not played at home. So they're not used to playing test cricket in these venues where they're playing now. Obviously, last series you see in UAE, when Pakistan played Australia, they won 2-0. So, it's tough ask for even for Pakistani bowling or batting group is to comprehend how the test pitch is going to come. They've come back from 2020 competition. They've had no red ball cricket for both teams, actually. But Australia is so superior in red ball cricket for the last couple of years compared to Pakistan. So if anything, you would think that Australia would have won comfortably. But we have seen 2 test matches, they haven't. And I think if this match, if you see just alone on today's performance, that shows that how far or how superior Australia is tactically, technically, and physically. They are still a little bit ahead already in this test match. And I think this test match, as I said earlier, is only for Australia to lose rather than Pakistan to draw or win. I think Pakistan win is probably out of question unless Australia rolled for 100 or something. But then Australia is the one that is going to dictate that test match, and it's for them to lose rather than Pakistan to draw or save that. So I think Australia should bat 2 sessions, and then they'll get Pakistan into after tea. 350 plus is a big ask to bat, and 4 sessions is plenty of time for Aussies to get Pakistan out, because that's like 2 new balls. So you have an opportunity to go through 2 new balls, which they did straight away. They took a new ball, line ball, few overs with the new ball, got the ball older, and then started reversing. So I think Australia winning this series is a massive favor for India. India would be looking forward to next 2 days for Australia to win, because that's the way they can crawl back into that top 2 spot to play the final. And I think the final could be Australia and India, if that's the case.
Yeah, YouTube's having some issues at the moment. We're getting some weird things going on. If there are people watching, I think they may have even lost some sort of it's not keeping up with what's been going on. It's bizarre.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just noticing some system glitches. It is true. This is a big deal. Of Pakistan, if Australia win Pakistan, it is a big deal. Considering the pitch conditions and just the way that it's worked out. Even when Australia would play Pakistan in the UAE, Australia had real trouble against Pakistan. They got beaten quite comprehensively on a number of occasions, or when Yashir Shah and Misbah al-Haq and a few other was in the side, it was quite a lopsidedness. And I would have expected this. Well, I'm not lopsided, but I would have expected Pakistan to be in the ascendancy. And again, as we said, session by session throughout all 3 tests so far, they probably still have an edge, but they could well be on the ground face down if Australia win this test. The knockout blow might come at the end of the match rather than, which would be disappointing. How could a team that's had 5 of its 6 batters, top order, score centuries, and the opposition's only 1 player scored a century in 1 innings?
That's true. That's true, and it's a
It's a bit.
sheer,
It doesn't make sense.
no, it's sheer volume of runs. And if you see, Australia has been carried on the shoulder by Uzi alone, who's still top run scorer, and with the bowling of Cummins and Stark. I think that's just the standout for me. That the three boys have carried Australia through to a position where they are in really good situation to win a Test series in Pakistan after a long time. They haven't, even though when the home series was played in UAE, they haven't won. So it be and last series in Pakistan when Mark Taylor got 300, that was the time when Australia won the series. But it's rare opportunity. It's a rare feast, and it's a good start for Cummins' resume to start winning in subcontinent with Pakistan. I think they'll win in Sri Lanka. India would be a tough ask, and that's where India can qualify for the Test Championship if Australia is winning against Pakistan and Sri Lanka.
Okay, it has set the scene good for Australia in terms of how they're going to go. It is true to say Australia played very well today as opposed to play. You can't really say, in all fairness, Pakistan played badly.
No,
they batted pretty strongly, and they looked like they were in a very strong position. But it turned very quickly on them, and it exposed their tail. The only disappointment for me in the Pakistan batting lineup, well, two players are disappointing, in my opinion. Fawad Alam, oh my God, I can't stand watching him bat. It just annoys me. And
he looks like getting out every minute.
He just looks like he's getting out every ball.
Yeah.
And Hassan Ali's been very disappointing.
Hassan Ali, same. With the ball as well, he was disappointing. It didn't look like his attitude was right there. Fast bowling is all about having that aggressive attitude, what Shaheen, Naseem, Cummins, and Stark have displayed. They bowl with aggression, whereas Hutton has not bowled with aggression at all. He just looked ambly bowling in mid 130s to low 130s, and it was not enough. It was just not enough. He didn't create enough pressure. He didn't create any opportunities where you could go that he's a threat. He didn't reverse with the pace, and Waqar pointed out that reversing at 130s is not going to do anything for a quality batting attack of Uzi, Smith, Marnus. Those guys are strong enough to be able to handle 130s. You've got to have 140 plus pace where the reverse becomes more dangerous. It starts to go late, and that's what happened with Cummins and Stark going late. So I think the two changes straight away for me, and even for this test, would have been for Haris Rauf and a youngster to get into number 5 spot in batting. I think Hassan is being disappointed as well.
Yeah, I found it particularly difficult to watch Fawad Alam bat to Lyon. And it must be really off-putting for Lyon that he could come off such a short run-up and a batsman's basically looking at the square leg umpire.
Exactly.
I mean, unless he thinks that's his forte, that he's putting the bowler off, because just a good bowler will work out that. I mean, imagine Shane. I would love to have seen Shane Warne bowling. He would have had a field day. He would have been in his ear big time. He would have said, "Hey, Fawad, over here. I'm over here, Fawad. I bet you." That's what. If I was bowling, I'd be saying, "Hey, Fawad, man, why are you looking to square leg? Look at me." I'd be annoying him back.
Yeah. Look, Chanderpaul people talk about Chanderpaul having the open stance and whatnot, but he was exceptional. He's got 8,000-9,000 test runs. He was exceptional. And nobody is going to try and mirror someone and be successful. Bailey tried the very close stance for a year, where he was really facing third man when he was really closed off, and it didn't work for him. So I did a Prime Minister's 11 game with him, and we were talking about how his stance has changed, and he was talking about how he was getting LBW quite a lot. So with that close stance, as soon as the bowler was coming in, he would open up and his front leg would go out of the way, but it didn't work. So it's funky things. They only work with exceptions. It's really hard to try and get yourself in line, side on with the bowlers, and try and pick the line and the length, especially when the ball is reversing. And I don't see Fawad getting anywhere with this stance any further. Look, I like him. I had him in my under-19s when I was in Pakistan. I like him as a person. I like him as a player. But, you know, unfortunately for me, his days are numbered.
I'm just looking through some stats here. 3, 4, 5, 3. The stats, it's just overwhelmingly in Pakistan's favour, especially the batting. Overwhelmingly in Pakistan's favour. But the way that, again, we've got to be cautious of the way that Pakistan batted so badly in the first innings last match, and they can come out with a draw. They can do that again. It should be more difficult, but we've got to be wary that Warner and Khawaja survived that little session. It looks as though the pitch is going to get worse rapidly. I would argue. I can't see Australia batting that long tomorrow. Even if they wanted to, they won't be batting that long. But that could be in Australia's favour. It could be in Australia's favour because Australia probably need to have their hand forced somewhat and be out at some stage tomorrow because they will not beat Pakistan if they play them in the last day. I don't think.
No.
They need more than a day to bowl them,
right.
And that's the key to this. Whether they actually do undertake that, and Australia should take a risk. They should declare at a point where I'd even argue. I don't know. They shouldn't wait for the traditional 400-500 lead to then, if that's possible. They shouldn't be doing that. They should be looking at it. 250 maybe be a little bit low, but no more than 300 lead.
Yeah, well, if you think 250 plus the 123 lead, so that puts them out to 375 straight away. So if they can bat 2 sessions and go with scoring 80 a session, let's say, so they're looking at scoring around close to 190 runs. Add another 100 runs to it. That's 290, 300 runs already. So, you know, if they bat close to like last half an hour of tea, they throw their bat around, score 225 even. You know, I would go 225, 250 with the bat. Add another 123 on top of it. That's 373 runs, 4 sessions. That's plenty of runs. I think on this pitch, even on last day, 350 is plenty. So even if they are 375 in front, that's a lot of runs. And 4 sessions they need at least to get Pakistan out, because they want to have an opportunity to get two new balls. You're not going to get Pakistan out with one ball. You want to have 2 balls available to you, whether you take it or not. Even this innings, they had second new ball taken, and that's when the rout started. So you need to have an allowance to be able to get 2 balls. So that's what you look at 160 overs at least. So you need 4 sessions. You need 4 sessions. You need, I think so. Post tea, if Australia's still batting post tea, I think they've done. Pakistan have done enough. They've contained them, and that's what I was saying earlier on. Pakistan don't need to go and try too hard. They got to go and bowl with sense. They got to bowl one side of the pitch. They got to contain Australia and not allow them to score freely, because the more time they let Australia bat, the better it is for them as well. So they don't need to go out and try and being too aggressive and start leaking runs. All of a sudden, the field is open up and no catches are around the bat, and all of a sudden, you know, you're defending too much. You got to bowl with a plan, with a purpose, like Australia did. They bowled with the one channel, one side of the pitch, and all of a sudden, then the ball started reversing and they started attacking the wicket. So I think that's the kind of approach that Pakistan's got to have tomorrow going in, rather than just going too aggressive and losing the direction and allowing Australia to score freely. Because remember, if Warner gets going for 2 sessions, he'll be 100. There's no doubt about it.
All right. What do you think Pakistan's thinking in the dressing room right now?
At the moment, I think they could go start another spell from both Naseem and Shaheen, short spell, and get spinners on. Spinners bowl one side of the pitch, get the ball older, and start reversing as soon as possible. If it's not working, you got to get spinners bowling one side of the pitch and dry runs out. I don't care. People talk about, sometimes they talk about, you know, bowling into the pads. Their rough is developed quite a lot, so you can really get the ball spinning and biting out the rough tomorrow. But you got to be able to bowl with one direction, one side of the pitch, and not allow guys like Warner, Smith, Marnus, you know, even Kerry and Green to score quick runs, because that's what Australia will be looking. They know from Karachi they ran out of time, because they had that, you know, we all talked about whether they should have followed on or not. You know, now that we don't know how that would have gone, but Australia did run out of time in Karachi, so they don't want to be in a situation here where they're batting after tea tomorrow, and they need to have enough runs prior to that tea, or half an hour after tea, to be able to declare and have a go at Pakistani bowlers in that last hour and a half on day 4. So if they don't do that, I think they'll miss the beat, because 3 sessions won't be enough for Australia to get Pakistan out, I think.
Yeah. The wording from the public is they've used the word collapse repetitively. We have to say that it has been a form of a collapse, but I don't want it to appear as if there was a lack of will on the side of the Pakistani batters. I think it was just simply very good bowling, in particular from Cummins, and backed up admirably with Stark. They had a longer tail, which played into Australia's hands. Baba Azam got out where he could easily have been given not out. Had the umpire said not out, he was not out after the decision. So it's interesting how that's and Bubba was on 67 at the time, so he kind of looked a bit like he missed his opportunity to really take a hold of that particular moment. He gave too much credit to the other batsmen to bat, when he probably should have farmed the strike a little bit more with those blokes. Even as early as Neumann and a few of those guys, he should have been already starting to farm the strike to protect them, at least until the end of the day, because there's that critical hour or so when they lost a lot of those wickets. Had they survived that, it would have been a very different story. But at the moment, Australia's definitely in ascendancy. But Pakistan knowingly will be happy to have that overnight discussion to get their act together again. Australia will bat, but Australia cannot afford to bat more than 2 sessions tomorrow. By the 3rd session of the day, they have to have Pakistan in bat if they're going to give themselves a serious chance of winning, which means they won't have a 400-plus lead at all. They won't have. They probably will be struggling to get 300 into the lead, but I think that's going to be enough if they bowl as well as they did today. And they've got to take that risk now. If they want to win this match, they have to put Pakistan into bat early tomorrow, whatever early is. But Australia might play conservative. They might play out the day and be 400 plus in front. Well, they've probably lost their chance to win the match, because I don't think Pakistan are going to be scheduled for a low score on the 5th day, even though it's happened today somewhat. We've got Aparna coming on. This is good. Aparna's feeling a little bit out of sorts. She's been at a happy Pakistan day. It was really funny because she's mumbling in my ear, and I didn't quite get what she was saying, but I'm sure she's saying, "Do I have to sit through this?" And in all fairness, but it was beautifully done. It was the first one, as I said. It was very colourful. We had probably about 8 or 9 state ministers from New South Wales there, because it was in Parliamentary House. I tell you, it was bloody easy to get inside. I said, I'm going to a Pakistani function. They let me go straight through. I could have been lying my bottom off. I was wearing an SCG11 jacket. I couldn't find a decent shirt, so I wore what I'm wearing now because I was promoting myself. But everybody else was suit and tie, and I wasn't, but I didn't really care. But then they had the Consul General. He spoke beautifully. It was a magnificent speech. He talked about, I think he offered to give everybody that attended $100 or $200, and I'm thinking, oh, that's nice. Where's the money? And that he was handing out $100 bills when we walked through the door. I don't quite know what that was all about, but he did say that he was arranging for everybody who attended to get $100 given to them. And I'm thinking, how would he know? There was no tickets for the event, and you were invited. You know, it was an intriguing thing to say. But it was beautifully done. They had kids on stage singing, and a mate of mine called JJ, who's on my channel TV Arcana that I used to work with, you know, Moses. Do you know JJ?
Yeah, I know JJ. Yeah.
He was there, and he's resplendently tall, and he got the MC to talk about how he almost played for Pakistan. I said, JJ, I mean, are you having a few delusions there? When did you almost play for Pakistan? He keeps saying that. I'm saying, mate, I don't think so.
No.
I could say I almost played for Australia by turning up at the SCG. I don't think so. Anyway, he keeps saying that, and he of course had the TV kind of voiceover, and then he went out the front and he sang a song, which he didn't know the words for. He had to actually have a piece of paper. It was a bit comical, even though he sings pretty well. Anyway,
no, that's.
It was a nice event. It was.
I'm
prestigious
glad that
location.
it. Yeah, I saw the pictures and they're quite rich. I think it looked like a great ceremony, and I'm glad to hear.
Aparna's here now. It looks like Aparna's here. I think. Hello, Aparna Saini.
Hello.
Hello, Aparna. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good. Very
a fresh
good.
face. Have
you guys met? I think one of the SCG events. Did you?
Probably we yeah.
I think upon one of the games we went to, we watched. Remember Usman Kadir? We went and watched him play.
Yeah.
I think in Harris Ralph we went and saw it, and you were in the
balcony.
You were in the balcony.
Yeah.
Because Mosen, he's obviously with the team very much as a high performance and stats with the stats and the high performance involvement there. He's normally in the team room. So I'm pretty sure that was the day when you guys met. And Aparna now has become fully Pakistani after going to a Happy Pakistan Day event today.
Well done. You're on mute.
But she was very pleasant, and there was certain prayers that she put the hands up. That was very. I love that. Well, she's going to come back. She lost her thing there.
Connection. Yeah. No, that's right. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It's really really good. I think the ceremonies, these kind of ceremonies are quite warm, welcoming people and whatnot. And I think they're more colorful because obviously it's like 26th January when it's celebrating your country's day. It's very colorful, and in ground today as well, you would have noticed a lot of flags. And one point, Ramiz Raja was walking around handing out the flags to the crowd and whatnot. It was good, and there's quite a few Aussies there as well.
Sorry,
quite a few Aussies there in the crowd.
Oh yeah. It's interesting. The relationship of Indians and Pakistanis, especially in Sydney, probably in a lot of the Australian cities, is wonderful. They get along really well. There's a lot of cross business discussions, a lot of involvement together. It's a very strong community actually.
Yeah. No, that's true. Sydney is quite multicultural, and compared to even Melbourne as well. I mean, here in Brisbane, I don't see much of that intermingle, but I think Sydney is quite rich with that community intermingle between all the other multinational communities. So I think Sydney is quite big. That's why I love Sydney. You know that.
Now, Aparna, I sometimes find it hard to hear Mosen because of so don't be alarmed if you can't necessarily hear Mosen, because on the actual feed it's as clear as a bell. But sometimes it's not always clear between us. I'm not sure. Because Aparna, can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you. If you can hear me, then we're good.
I hear you very clearly. Most of your hearing is both clearly, yeah. So
That's great.
Australia have just gotten Pakistan
I will not get a
all out
lecture
for what was it? How much? They get 123 runs behind, so 268 all out actually. After being 2 for 214, they've lost some 57 runs for 8 wickets, something of that dimension. It was quite a collapse. And it wasn't based on this sort of Pakistan batting capitulating. It was more good bowling from Stark, who took 5 wickets, and Cummins, who took 5 wickets, and Stark, who took 4. So it was quite a turnaround. And we must say, and Aparna, please say what you're on your own platform, Aparna Saini, or the old cricket conversations with Aparna Saini. She's had a very distinguished platform there, which has been heavily involved with ABP News and Sky. I think, did you see when both Apana and I were on Sky News with Catherine McGregor?
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun.
Yes,
Have to try and get a call with Catherine again. Go on her show.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun.
Well, first of all, I mean, it has been a great series for Pakistan, in more than a way, I suppose. And it's a huge thing. I mean, for them, it's like an historic moment. I mean, and I'm not saying in a rude way, but it's a happy, historic moment in a way that, they have 2 or 3 generations that have not been able to see cricket from, in stadiums and all. So, first of all, congratulations to Pakistan just for doing that. And then, they've been performing really well in this whole test series. Shock about Australia. I mean, Norman, what are you doing? You haven't given them enough lectures or something. What's wrong?
Moses, you talk.
Okay. Well, I think we spoke about this yesterday, Apana, that Azhar Ali surprisingly has played 94 test matches. This is his first test match in front of his own family in home ground and whatnot. So it's amazing to see the generations have gone past without playing test cricket at home ground. So it is really good to see cricket going back in Pakistan and top nations like Australia touring, and that would lead England to come to Pakistan, and that would lead New Zealand to come to Pakistan as well. So that's the next 2 home series. And I think cricket is getting back on his feet in Pakistan with PSL being successful. But Test cricket is the ultimate. You want to see Test cricket back in your home grounds, where the real test of cricket is that's why it's called Test cricket. So I back what you're saying that it's a big achievement. I think regardless of results for this series, I think in itself it's a big achievement to Pakistan to start hosting the big test cricketing nations at home. I know the Asian countries like Sri Lanka and Bangladesh have toured recently. Zimbabwe had toured, but your credentials improve when you have teams like Australia, England, New Zealand, South Africa starts touring. And I think they're now on the right track to get international cricket back at home. And that will also bring quality in terms of pitches, ground, infrastructure, and everything else. I think that's probably step 1, I suppose.
They're coming. Australia's very happy to come out and put some videos out very, very quickly. They haven't mucked around. They've already put out Mitchell Stark's interview, and of course, you can sense there's a certain happiness about the Australian camp at the moment. They're wanting to make hay, I think, a little bit there. It's pretty obvious that the way that they're going about their delivery of their videos, which is quite impressive.
Come
on,
just to wrap up,
tell us what
are
you thinking about when you talk about the way that.
Sorry.
Wouldn't you love to see Australia? Would you like to see India play Pakistan in a test match?
India play who?
Pakistan in a test match.
Pakistan. And you know what? That'd be a good one. And in Pakistan, it hasn't happened for, as I said, I mean, test cricket for 2 or 3 generations, but 24 years overall. None of the teams has visited Pakistan and Australia to do that. I mean, first of all, Pakistan administration work that has gone behind it. I mean, we have to give big credit to them to have, been able to organize this. And, in a way, this is actually a beginning of more cricket in Pakistan. So we might as well see, Indian team visiting Pakistan team and playing few games. And I know as a kid, as a child, have this enthusiasm about watching India versus Pakistan. Either it's in India or Pakistan. It was a huge thing, Norman. I mean, being a cricket fan and watching a game of cricket, especially between India and Pakistan, it's huge.
It's massive.
Oh, look, I mean, with all the comments we're getting in the commentary there, obviously a lot of people from India are also making the point that it's hugely beneficial for India in the World Test Championship rankings if Australia do beat Pakistan, because it will push India probably into second position, I'm guessing. Australia would probably then be firmed as first, but that doesn't bother India as long as they get through as the opposition. And I think that's a fair, position to be looking at for them. But it's not the way this should be done. Really, this should be not done this way. I would love to see India support a victory of Pakistan over Australia in a lot of ways. I mean, probably in the old days they did do that, but it's probably not as common as it is now. And I'd like to see that. I think that would be
good
something
point,
to see.
Norman. When there wasn't any teams visiting Pakistan media actually was showing a lot more cricket, which is Indian cricket. I mean, that's how closely they follow. So it's I think vice versa. I imagine the craze that went through, even in Indian media, about Pakistan, that league, like IPL. I mean, that has been a bash, like blockbuster, especially in Lahore. There has been a lot of talks about it. So, they do encourage and support each other and how they talk, even in the media. And they will show details, especially the Pakistan media, in a way that you would not imagine any other country showing for, when your country is not even playing. It's incredible how much rivalry is the incredible bit. It's interesting side of it that, flows through both countries. And I would love to see more cricket in Pakistan actually happening. And I can't congratulate them for this achievement to have, started this cricket for the upcoming generation to be able to watch, play, and have the cricket back in the country.
That's true. That's very true.
A lot of people have missed you. I think I've been asked every single video, where's the partner? Where's the partner? Where's the partner? And it becomes nausea. I'm saying she's busy, doing her modeling, her IT degrees, her law degrees, beating people at tennis. Do you know that Mosen, a partner that played at a very high level of tennis in India?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that. So that's a surprise for me that she's a tennis star as well.
I mean, she wouldn't beat me, that's for sure. I mean, I'm just so tremendously fit. But she's quite scary on a tennis court. I would argue that I wouldn't get her cranky. It reminds me a little bit of Shabnam Ismail when she gets angry. You don't want to get her angry, I'll tell you.
Fair enough.
It's not a pretty sight, especially when she can bowl 135 clicks.
That's true. Yes, true. That's very true.
Norman, I mean, have you ever faced a female bowler that I guess the word not scared is probably the wrong word, but yeah, somewhat nervy about, because I tell you what, facing someone that can bowl 135 clicks,
and that's
is scary at the best of times.
I have mitt the when the bowlers are warming up, and I had a mitt in my hand and stand and catch Marzan Cap. She hits my mitt hard, and you can tell that she's actually.
Did you say Marzan Cap?
Cappy, yeah, Cappy. She's quick. She bowled in high 120s, which is, when you're mitting the ball, it is quite quick, and it hits your glove really hard, and you can tell that she is really, that's warm up when she's bowling, and when she's bowling in a game with intensity, she's cranking it up. So it's interesting, and it'd be good to see.
She's got a pretty scary face though when she gets angry. So partner's back.
Yeah.
I hope you were not talking about me, Norman.
We were talking about
pretty
I was saying
face.
positive things, not negative things.
Norman is praising your tennis skills and saying that how scarily good you are playing tennis, but you wouldn't beat him.
I actually can beat him in just running between the wickets. Put it that way. So
he's not happy about it.
I don't even have to lift up the bat. to beat Norman.
Well, I think what Parna's going to do is she's going to play a game of tennis against me and maybe Mosen one day. Well, in fact, Mosen and I we might play doubles against singles, so to speak, and see how good Parna really is. If she's
Put that
good.
video up in your channel.
Well, actually, it's a drawback for you, Martin. I mean, you need space in the court to run around, and Norman would be just standing in the corner. So that's not even fair. I mean, that's a disadvantage. So you can come on my side, Norman. I mean, that's a fair one.
I think there's a challenge being thrown out here somewhere.
Anyway, on that note, there's a big tennis news coming up. Ash Barty has retired.
Yeah.
Oh, that was huge.
It's huge. It's massive. I thought she was right at prime. She was winning. She was in a good headspace. And shocking to hear. I mean, all the best to her, what she will do in future. And you remember she gave up tennis in 2014 as well, and she came and played WBBL cricket in 2016 as well. So she gave up. She came back and played cricket. I mean, she's multi-talented, but then she came back and won Grand Slam. So it's just one part of me is disappointed that she's given up tennis at peak of her career, but then the other part is that saying good luck to her whatever she does, and she's achieved what a lot of women haven't achieved in coming from Australian tennis. So you're next, Aparna.
No, you know what? Feel so sorry. I mean, Australia has lost Shane Warne, and now, Ash Barty retiring. There has been two huge news in Australia, in the sporting, industry itself, and it has big two sports that most of the Australians and everyone around the world do follow. I mean, all the best as you said. She's probably got has a boyfriend and now engaged last year as well, so she wants to divert her and she has achieved what she wanted to. So once you're satisfied and content with what you've done, I think it's time. And no one has ever retired when they're top one. I mean, she's won the world at present. So it's a good time for her. I mean, I'm in full support, but yeah, what a disappointment for Australia, definitely.
Agree, 100%. Yeah.
So, Aparna, I'm gonna make sure that I get you to upload.
There you go. Norman's giving task. Oh my god. Norman,
so he's gonna get you to upload your tennis game or something, so then people can watch how good you are in
tennis.
Well, I'm talking about. Where do you want
I should go. Norman, I should go next for Australia.
Whether you can receive it there.
You should.
No, you
well, Norman's telling that you enjoyed the Pakistan Day function today. How was it?
It was actually quite amazing to see how many people was there, and the way they were dressed up. I mean, I haven't been home, and I'm from India, so I haven't been home for 2 years. So it's good to see some sort of similar faces of familiarity, and it was really nice. I missed the dessert that Norman had it, so I'm a bit disappointed on that. Very jealous, but next time for that. There's more to come.
You got to look after your guest, Norman.
Well, there was none left. There was last piece, so I let him have it.
Not that he needs one.
It's good to have you back, Aparna. You're looking very refreshed, and unlike me, I mean, you're looking very like you've been full of life, and of course, in terms of your career, you're gonna be embarking on all sorts of jobs. She went really, really close to getting a job with Google. Very, very close to getting a job with who else was there? What was the other company?
Amazon, but Google, I've been doing it for 1.5
IBM
months.
and
Yeah, but the farthest I've gone is 7 rounds of interviews. I've cleared the 7th, and the last minute, it's a bit of disappointment because, I've been doing a lot of things, and that has really taken my diversion. I mean, I really need to focus. That's why I took a break from. But we all here back again for the love of the game. That's it. And as much as I was focusing on other things, I was very much missing bantering with Norman. So for that as well.
I think Norman's got that knack that he can handle a good banter, I suppose.
Oh, he's natural. He's natural. I think Norman. What Norman's plans are to actually go on a world tour very soon, and he would be a stand-up comedian. So I'm going to be his assistant. We're going to do some sort of banter, especially around cricket, and maybe a bit of tennis.
I reckon.
And no personal
And
jokes
if-
for Norman.
At the SCG, we're at the front. Aparna's running late. I'm not sure where she is. All of a sudden, there's this big crowd of Indians farming community protesters going nuts at the SCG. It was big news in India. ABP News was screaming down my neck saying, "Get Aparna, get it on screen, quick." Remember, Untitled Chapter, she's turned up, she's rampaged in, and all of a sudden she's amongst this crowd. It was theatre. It was fantastic. That was one of my favourite things you've done. That was madness.
And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And then they tell me I had a little brief for like 5 seconds, and I'm turning from the camera. I literally have clips of me taking deep breaths, and they just like full on. I'm like, all right, and it was really one of I think it was protests for farmers, as Norman said. I'm glad to be a part of ABB News and Sports Talk, and especially Norman's channel. It's been great working with him. Thank you, Norman. It has been a pleasure knowing you and working together, and hopefully get to work with you, Martin. If I said that name.
Okay, Aparna now.
I'm
Rev
bad
Rev Sports. Then we've got to host one of the programs, but I'm going to make sure that Burya gets you to host various IPL shows in the next couple of months with his audience, and he brings on Tendulkar, Rohit Sharma from his dressing room, all sorts of crazy things he can do. He can pull off anything. So we'll try, and I'll get you, Mosen, as well, because unfortunately, obviously, we haven't got Pakistan players playing the IPL. But your connection will be very interesting. And we ought to connect, all three of us get involved with the PSL. We need to do something, obviously not this year, but next year, we need to get involved with the PSL and get some interaction between the Pakistani community in Australia with the Pakistan community around the world watching the PSL, because that's just as interesting as what the IPL is in a different mode. So we need to explore that. As I said, I would love to have been in Lahore now. I want to be in India this year. COVID's been a devastation. My mother's situation hasn't helped as well. But there's going to be a day when I'm going to be doing that. I know the followers are wanting that. I'm getting a lot of people asking me when I'm coming, and it'll happen one day, guys. Don't worry. We're all going to go as a little troop, and we're going to go there and have a lot of fun. So it's just a matter of getting some.
Norman, love you and love to meet you, Aparna. This is a pleasure. Unfortunately, I've got to drop off.
That's right.
So hopefully, Norman, you can organise that tennis match that you promised with Aparna soon, and it'd be good to get your opinions coming in upcoming days and catch up on Norman's channel.
No,
thanks, Mosen. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure.
We'll see more of you. Hopefully in the tennis courts.
That's it.
You've been on Cricket Conversation with Pakistan. You've been on Eyes on Cricket, both of it together.
Yeah, definitely.
We're dual platforming.
That's it. Perfect. All right. Excellent, guys. Enjoy the night, and Norman will catch up tomorrow post day 4. Hopefully a bit more joy for Pakistan team. See you guys.
Thanks, Mosen.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Apparently he's great. He was involved with he was involved with the Rajasthan Royals with Shane Warne when they won the first IPL. Mosen was. He's a lot older than he looks. He was also involved with Sydney Thunder, Sydney Sixers. He's involved with Queensland Cricket, New South Wales Cricket, coached the Pakistan under-19s team. A lot of history about his cricketing credibility. Great guy too, and you've met him because I'm sure he was at the game in the team box when we were at the SCG.
Yeah, but maybe I remember briefly now. You when I
met a lot of people. So
yeah.
I'm sending you. I'm going to send you videos of the media conferences. You've got one now. I want you every day to upload these onto your platform as well. All right?
No, for sure. Thanks for doing that.
We need to get your numbers going because you've been very, you deserve more viewers. So if everybody's online, you've got Aparna Saini, look up that name and connect to her YouTube channel as well as her other platforms, but in particular her YouTube channel. So that's one thing you must do, guys.
Yeah. But,
So
I haven't been off.
Kari Boy saying that in October there's a big fight. Looks like India in Australia versus England. No, India. Sorry, India versus Pakistan in Australia with the so-called World Cup, which is coming our way later this year, as well as the IPL. So Rev Sports, I'll get Buria onto you and you can be part of the program where he has incredible guests. A lot of the players, he's going to be very much with players. A lot of his platform videos have gone into the millions already. And he needs people to be able to be part of it, so he'll be part of that as well. And he pays, which is good.
Yeah, there's a lot of cricket actually happening. I mean, this year. I mean, the huge one is obviously a historic moment for Pakistan, but it's like IPL's going on right now. There's a lot of cricket is happening, and there is, New Zealand tour of England, then there's South Africa tour of India. The list goes on. There's a lot more cricket to be involved, and I definitely look forward to being a part of any which way I can.
Absolutely. It's interesting. We've got on the Pakistan list of the PCB media, and they're giving us very good coverage. In fact, it's been amazing. Brian Murgatroyd, who's a part of Cricket Australia, has been fantastic. He gives us incredible footage, which I'll get you to. You need to start up. I'll give that to you to upload as well. Cutting edge type stuff when it happens. He's been absolutely fantastic with what he gives us. So it's really, really allowing us to provide up to the minute, views of players around dressing rooms, and you saw a few of the videos which went into the millions on my channel. We need to get them on your channel too, in a timely fashion, just to get that numbers up for sure.
See, everyone can see Norman is like a mentor. He teaches, like, you got to do this, you got to do this in a very organized manner. And you know what, that's what I love working with Norman, and the way he wants good things for other people, and he's really helped me. And Norman, you've been really, I couldn't be thankful and grateful enough for being a part of cricket and any sort of conversations with you. I think I should change my name to.
So Zafik Bakari is saying Smith has taken so many blinded catches and many mind-blowing catches. What has happened to him in the series? He's had a pretty ordinary series. He's right. But did you see the women's game between Australia and Pakistan? There were two catches in that game. Ash Gardner, who played for Bankstown, took a catch over her head. I've never seen it before. And then Mignon Pries from South Africa looked like she was Superwoman going through the air, side on. It was two of the most dramatic catches I've ever seen, male or female. Quite incredible. So there's been some interesting things. And I'm very nasty because Shabnim Ismail bowled really well, as you know, and Marazan Kat, who's another player, they gave it to Australia, but Australia again beat South Africa, and they've beaten them quite comprehensively. And even some of the girls that you met, there's a girl called Razanjika Herat, Deepika, a friend of Shripali, who's now in her late 30s. She's playing for Bahrain. I don't know why she's playing for Bahrain, but she's playing for the country Bahrain against Oman. Their team scored 1 for 318 and 20 overs, which means every over they scored 15.9 runs per over, which means 4 fours every over for 20 overs. And she got 150 herself out of that 300 and broke all sorts of records, and quite phenomenal, actually.
That's incredible, I know. And you know what? That's
women's cricket, I tell you, is hitting some incredible heights. And the Women's World Cup is coming up. Well, it's on now, but the final's within a week. And I'm trying to convince a partner to come with me to Shane Warne's memorial, which will be on next week, which is another thing which you should think about.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's been
that'll be a very special event. You can actually go to the SCG and be a part of the memorial there, but it won't be the same as being in Melbourne, his home.
In his home, state, and he's got memories there, and I would love to be a part of it, and definitely looking forward to it. Just have to make my commitments right, and it has been a shock. I mean, I still can't find words to fathom the news that whatever happened. And what a huge loss to Australian cricket, and just all the fans. He's a great human being, and he's done so much in I remember Sri Lanka when there was tsunami, and sort of floods and all. He's been there personally and trying to, great human. I mean, help everyone in any which way he can. So a huge loss, and yeah, it's
He's an amazing guy. Look, how did you find out about how he passed? Where were you? Were you in bed, or were you at the streets? Where were you?
I actually got up and turned the news, and it was like bang, it was there. I was like, oh my god, this can't be happening. It was actually probably the second worst news. Um, um, Not second worst, first worst. I had breaking that one when the COVID started and the borders were shutting, right? I thought that was my record of I've seen something, but I think this has really got me. No one saw it coming. He's such a fit person, and it's just, yeah, very hard to fathom.
I mean, there's been reactions of people about his passing, and they're all, obviously emotional moments, especially people who knew him well. But I reckon it would be extra special to be at that memorial when you've got 50 to 100,000 people at MCG, no game, just honouring Warren. It's going to be a very surreal moment, I think, and it'll be great to get people's reactions when they're there. It'll be quite an exciting event to be a part of from a worldwide perspective. So we could probably look at people like ABP News getting you to cover it for them. We should promote that to, have you follow that. Even if you can't come to Melbourne, you could be at the SCG and do a cross from there. It would be very special. It'd be very special. It's going to be a memorial of memorials. It's probably one of the only players, other than say Donald Bradman, who would have as much impact. But imagine if Sachin Tendulkar passed. Oh my God, that would be monumental. It would be it's a sad
here for Shane Warne and everywhere around the world. I mean, everyone has shock as we are here in Australia.
It'll be. You can imagine the impact of someone like Tendulkar passing in that situation. It would rock India, that's for sure. So, and I mean, I don't want to even cast aspersions that something like that could ever happen, but it has just happened with Warren, hasn't it? No one expected him to pass away. He was far too young, and he looked far too fit. But one thing he did do was he smoked, and very heavily.
What I've heard from people, as you know, in the cricket circle, they've been saying that he was on a very funny diet. I mean, he was trying to, adjust his diet too much, and that might be underlying. There was some underlying condition that would has caused this as well, because smoking. I'm not sure. No, was he? You sure?
Well, I mean, I think that as you're alluding to his dieting, aren't you?
Yeah. I think it was more for that because he was adjusting his diet like huge in levels of protein and carbs and all that sort of stuff. It was huge, impacting his body, but he wanted to really aggressively go for it, because that's sort of a person he was. He would really want to perform well and the go-getter sort of a person. And then someone trying to do something with their health, that's why you have to really it's very hard with sportsmen. It's unpredictable. It takes a lot to be a sportsman, and that's what these people do. It's full respect and require that tribute to them and for what he's done and given to the Australian cricket and the humanity in general. I mean, seriously, I mean, he didn't deserve that to go that early. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, and the most amazing thing for me was when Rod Marsh passed, the keeper. He passed only a few hours earlier, and then Shane Warne tweeted, "R.I.P. Sad to see him go," and within an hour he's dead. I mean, I'm sure he would never imagine when he was tweeting about another player that he would also be the one to pass. It's the power of social media that your last words can be thrown out there so readily and then pass so quickly. It's hard to comprehend. It really is. It's really, really amazing.
Well,
all right, Pam, we've got some really big things. You want to be a part of this Rev Sports? You should be. Because he has, it would be great. Could you imagine hosting the IPL? And I'm talking about on a very big platform. Let's have a talk to Bori about that.
No, definitely not. That's something we can, discuss. offsite.
And I'll have to twist you up at the Melbourne trip. And if you can't do that, you can still be in the Sydney component of it and do it at Sydney. So we can have
Yeah,
two
no,
live
I'll
crosses.
get back to you on that. As I said, before making any commitments, but yeah, we'll discuss in the coming days about that off camera. But yeah, a lot of cricket is happening anyway, and you know, IPL is going on right now, and then there's gonna be obviously World Cup too. I mean, let's not forget
Well,
that. ICC T20
Kuntal,
World Cup.
well, let's have a chat about ABP News, because there's no reason why you can't cover the whole WARN event from Australia for them.
Well, I haven't, probably because I've been off cricket. I'm just heading back now, so I think I'm going to take this steady. But yeah, if any opportunities, I'll be more than happy to consider. But yeah, Norman, look, just for the platform, your platform, has been incredible. I mean, you're no different or far off from becoming one of the ABB. And, you know, I'm happy to be here as well. So, you know, Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnak is might be a next ABB. you never know. I hope so.
I really think that video we did at the Harbour Bridge Opera House was one of the absolute classics. It deserves a bigger audience. That was perfect. It was completely unrehearsed, and it was just brilliant.
It's very important to highlight to our viewers that video, we just did it as a banter, like an actual, like, turn on the camera and did a banter. And it's like, let's, you know, show it to ABV, you know, behind the camera team and Kuntal and all that. And a few hours later, I was like, oh my God, they actually have put that on. We were not expecting that. But, you know, natural banter is always, this is like behind the scenes, me and Norman just doing our normal chit chat. Next minute it's on.
Well, let's not take away from the fact, because you're due to go back to India and see your family at some stage, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm not sure. There's like, yeah, there has been a lot of other commitments that I've been trying to fulfill while I've been away from cricket as well. So yeah, I've just come out of that. And first thing was, you know what, let's get back to cricket. Let's get on Norman's show. So definitely
it'll all happen. It'll happen.
It'll be soon. I'm not sure as of yet, but yeah, soon.
So we've got people making comments about economic fight, social revolution fight. I'm not sure what we're talking about there. But anyway, the thing is, this has been a fantastic test match. Unfortunately, Pakistan have fallen away a bit now, but they'll come back. It'll be ebbs and flows. So you've been to Amritsar, haven't you?
Sorry?
Have you been to Amritsar?
Yes, of course.
And of course, Lahore is like 2 foot from there, isn't it? There's only about 30 k's difference between the two. Quite a special part of the world. It's beautiful. Some great.
My actually other side of the family, some of them actually, you know, came from, I mean, that's now known as Pakistan, but it was a part of India before partition. So yeah, I mean, they are, you know, divide and rule has just got that line, but it's you would be surprised, Norman, when you do have a chance to go to Pakistan and Amritsar, you would be surprised that just you know, across that line, you would find a lot of same people that you would find across this side of the line, and that's just, you know, what a line and division can do is yes. Same people, we all same people.
Exactly. You are fundamentally different. People are saying, Aditya Rai, who's been on the program many times, boring pitch in the series. Well, I don't know about that. I think a test cricket that needs sometimes a batting pitch to make that happen. Cricketer with Dhruv Barola, can I give you a super chat? Please do that. Go for it. Put it on a partners program too. So, well, we've got to get you. You're monetized, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, we can do it on a partners channel too. You hit super chat, super sticker, put those things on, and it can be great for her as well as mine. So please do that. It would be great. I'd love to have that happen, guys.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. If I'm monetized, so now I can hire an assistant like Norman has, because I can't do everything by myself. And that's
you go on her platform as well as mine, and you have to talk about that more, about your platform. I know you've changed the name, which I like the fact it's called Aparna. It's a lot. It's straight to your name. I think that's good. I think you don't need to have it as long as what it
deviating
was.
towards more sports. As I said, tennis. I've always played tennis as well, but cricket is one thing that even Indians grow up. You wouldn't believe my sister can actually comment. Like my sister's commentary and an actual commentary in a match, it would be like 0.01 second apart, and she's saying the same thing. Like she's like spot on while you're watching the match on the TV. So that's one of the things that Indians, grow up watching. And tennis have something played. So that's why I've changed the name so I can cover more sports, and people can get to know about just these two and other sports, that they're interested in. So yeah, Norman, you should have eyes on cricket with something, and Norman Kochenak, and invite the guests, or coffee with Norman Kochenak.
We could well afford to do we should get, because we should take the lead of Buria. He has a lot of major sponsors like various Indian insurance companies or whatever else. We need to get a hold of them to actually sponsor our development on the program. It's a very good initiative that we do that. And I think that's what we should be looking at, his model now that he's only been doing it since December, January. He's already got 35 to 40,000 subscribers. Mind you, it is Buria Majunda we're talking about here, but still, it's been very impressive. He has Sachin, he has, Rohit Sharma, he has Hardik Pandya on his show, he has whoever he wants really. And it's a great access, and it's a wonderful thing to be a part of. So it'd be good for you to be able to interview some of these people that you should get that happening. That would be ideal.
Norman. As I said, I'm back, so everything.
So you're back with a bang. We're going to get you involved. Hit the ceilings and break all the barriers and get you up there in the stratosphere of Aparna land, we'll call it.
And the borders are open, so we can travel around, and there's more opportunities. There'll be more teams coming in. There's no more quarantine. Hopefully that goes away slowly. More spectators in the stadium, and let's get this world back and the sporting industry back to what people love about sports. The energy, that's what we need.
Well, you Pakistani viewers as well as Indian viewers need to take a hold of Aparna. She's a gold, and we should get you with Steve Waugh. Of course, that was a great interview that you did there. We're going to promote that again. You might just cross-pollinate that on this program. Your efforts with AVP News, which were great, Sky News. There's a lot of depth there that you've got going.
Sports talk.
All right. Well, then, first things first, we'll get you going to sleep because it's getting late here in Australia.
Yeah.
We'll meet up tomorrow about the other things that we were talking about. But guys, I hope you enjoy having Aparna Soni on here. It's been fantastic to have her back. She's back with great vengeance. We're going to see her do a lot of great things. So thank you, Aparna Soni, for being a part of the program. And you need to sign off because it's also your platform.
Yes, thank you for having me on the show, Norman. It's always a pleasure. And please, everyone who's watching Norman's show tonight, please go and subscribe my show. That's just Aparna Soni for now. But I'll drop a link. And yeah, love your audience. Thank you, Norman. Thank you.
Thanks, Aparna. All right, we'll end it there, guys. We're going to do that was great having Aparna on. She's magnificent. She's worth her weight in gold. Please, guys, follow her. 2 billion people subcontinent fight. I want you to be able to all go to Aparna Soni. You saw her name, Aparna Soni, Saini, and you get on there and make sure that you do subscribe to her platform, because it's certainly been a great thing over the time, and we want to make sure that it continues to grow as it deserves to do. All right, so all right, guys, we might end the show now. If there's no more questions about anything, I'm also Lahore, my data firm. Okay. No opening ceremony of IPL for 4th consecutive year. That's sad. That's very sad. I would argue that's a big part of any event is their opening ceremonies. You'd have to think that would be one of the most important things as a part of the event. And you'd like to see that happen more regularly. So any other questions, guys? It's getting very late in the day, but we're going to continue on tomorrow as well. All right. Bit of Coke to wake me up. Bit of caffeine. Never goes to sleep. People from Lahore, You've got a great town there. If only I could be there now. I had a Pakistan event. Happy Pakistan to hit a magnificent event. All our state premiers were there and leaders of parliament. The Consul General of Pakistan to Australia was there. It was a great event. Have a look. I'll post some things from that as well. It's a great event for me to be a part of. I was very, very proud of the whole thing. It was one of the better events I've been to for some time, actually. Media conference here of Mitchell Stark is going well. I've got Azra Ali's about to be, I'll give him some credit in a minute. We'll get his up there. So there's a lot to be said about all this. And let's hope that we can continue and flourish. So Australia win this match. You'd think so, right? I think that well, I said that in the second test too, by the way. They didn't do it. So let's hang on a second there and let's just see what actually does happen. You know, you never really know. You never really know until what do they say? That until the fat lady sings, you don't know who's going to win anything. So it'll be. What's always it not there? All right. So make sure you view, like, and share the post, subscribe, and follow the program. So Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kostek, of course, with the notification button there as well. Subscribe away, guys, if you haven't done it. I want to see you. I want you to show me that you are subscribing. I want to see evidence of your subscriptions on the screens here right now. I want to see it going up. You guys need to do that for both the partner and I, our sakes. We work our butts off to supply you with some really good stuff, and we'd love to see you show us your support by watching, but also by subscribing, and that's the key to it. So it's very, very important. And I'm meant to be posting this now. This video of don't know why it's not coming up. I'm just a bit unsure why it's not letting me post. It's doing this time. Asset not readable. Why is it not readable? Interesting. So Azra Ali has put send file. To download it again, see if the second download helps it. It wasn't that big at all. It was quite small. Azra Ali, a polished gentleman. I've had dinners with him, and Mohsen Sheikh, I should say, and I and a few other people like to have some great times. Some people impress you in the world, no matter who the team they represent. And he was one of them. So let's Azra Ali. We transfer Azra Ali. Where's it gone? Baba Azam. Wonder why it's not working. Let's just see a bit of volume there, so there's anything.
Hello everyone, you've got Azhar Ali.
It was a bit too loud. Let's have a look at whether this one works better, because it's all about version control of these things. It's a second 10.4. There we go. Let's see if that one works. Invalid video asset not readable. It's a bit unusual. Let's see if I can send that somewhere. It should be working, shouldn't it? You would think. Why these videos don't work, I'll never know. Let's go here. There it is there, 10.4. I might send that to, I might airdrop it to another phone. Because if you airdrop it to another phone, it inevitably does something a little bit funny. It might work. So we'll put an airdrop to both of them. It might hopefully not do any damage to the video. It has, unfortunately. We'll just have to save that here. You guys there? You are there. All right. So we'll try and work out what's gone on there. But otherwise, the program we're going to end it now with there've been no more questions being asked. So I'll assume that you guys have finished answering your questions. So view, like, and share the post. Subscribe as much as you can. Hit the so-called notification button. Be notified of any programs that are occurring. You know, do your best to support the channel. Much appreciated indeed, as you would imagine. We've had a great show yet again, and it's all due to your efforts, guys. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate all the work you've done. We could probably go another 14, 12. Impressive numbers, guys. So it'd be great to be able to have a certain amount of, continuing involvement with a partner who's really, really good. Really, really good guys. And I think, they've wished to show a wicket of Cameron Green failing. He did go quite well, but Pakistan missed an opportunity. They wish they didn't collapse as hard as they did. Look, Azhar Ali batted well. Shafiq batted well. Even Babar Azam got 67. They didn't bat badly. They just had their tail didn't wag, unfortunately. They didn't support those upper batsmen in their quests to get ahead in the scoreboard, which is always a bit of a sad thing. Okay. All right, guys. Any other questions you want to ask? No one's asking any more questions, so we'll leave it at that. All right, so guys, we'll say goodbye now. So view, like, and share the post, subscribe. See you tomorrow. Hopefully day 4 brings a different result for the day for Pakistan. All the best.